Hello, good evening. This is Dawn Shireen, and welcome back to Dancing with Bipolar Redu. Yep, I went back to the original name. I'm going back to the original concept. There's no need in denying the fact that I'll be bipolar for life, and just because I changed the name of the podcast briefly there when I thought that everything was going to be different doesn't make anything different. So I'm back to the original concept of Dancing with Bipolar. I feel good about it. It's a good decision, and it's something I can stand with and on and, advocate for because God only knows bipolar might go away, but it will certainly reappear, and we all need support when that shit goes down. So I'm still hotel bound. I'm not sad about it. Kind of. A little disappointed that the move into my own place isn't happening yet, but I'm waiting on new furniture. So, new furniture versus furniture somebody very likely maybe died on is, I'm okay with the wait. Still low in South Dakota, but starting to see the darker side to it, and not that anything's happened to me, but, as it is, the longer you stay in a place, the more you see, and then the more you see, the more you can form an opinion. So my opinion is still really favorable, much better than Flagstaff. But, it's got its dark side, too, and it's got its people that need help, and I'm not to say that I'm not one of them, because I am actually receiving quite a bit of help right now in order to continue saving my life. But, I gotta say, like, hotel life is, it's a strange thing, and the place I'm moving to, I don't think it's really much more than a hotel with the name apartment at the end of it, really, but and a whole lot more people than here, so it's going to be interesting to see how I do with that, seeing that me and large amounts of people and noise and confusion and chaos. I don't usually do really well in those kind of situations, but I'm going to have to learn how to do this shortly. Today's Wednesday, so I was supposed to move tomorrow, but it's looking like sometime early next week the new furniture will be arriving. And again, like I said, I'm not buying the furniture. It's not my dime. I can't complain about anything, honestly. And to do so would just make me look like a real asshole. So I'm just going with it, which is hard for me to do, because I've got everything under control, even when I have nothing under control. So the fact that I've had to give all my control up to people, because they got the money and they got the resources and they have the means to keep me going is, really weird, but I'm getting better at it. I'm not fighting it, because what good is that going to do? I mean, I could be in a tent in a field somewhere out here, which is really just one of the worst options absolutely possible. So I'm still at the roadway here on North Lacrosse, 1313 North Lacrosse to be exact. Please don't send mail here, because I don't think I can get it anyway, but who knows? I could get mail here, but please don't send mail here. I guess it's just like you can just learn to adapt to shit and roll with it, or you can just be an asshole, and I'd rather be adaptable than somebody who causes trouble and issues for people who are probably in a worse boat than I am, because I think there's a lot more weakly people here than I realize, because I'm not hanging out in the lobby much. I'm not really out of my room after a certain time at night, because I'm still in that Flagstaff mindset that, leaving the house at night equals sure death. And though I don't know that it would equal sure death out here, it would definitely equal, more attention to me than I need or desire right now. So I'm, hotel bound, and it's I keep the room clean and all, so it's definitely teaching me that you can live in a small space and not have it be horrible. And the Sermon, on the other hand, is learning how to weep a little less loudly, and I don't know. I actually don't know how he's doing. Some days are better than others for him, I think. And like today, he's been very very motivated is a really good way to put it. And having to try to keep him on the DL is seriously getting to be harder every day that goes by. But I have to make sure that I just don't give him kiwi or things that make him super excited, and we'll be okay. But it's challenging, and it's a lie, and I know that. But and I really can't even really say this. It's not good to lie, and we all know how I feel about that. But in this case, he has to be what it is right now, and there's just no way that I can change it, because then it will definitely out me as a liar, and then everything could just fall apart in one fell swoop. So, we got to keep this under the rug for, I don't know, the next 4, 5, 6 days, something like that. I don't know. And as far as I know, they could know he's in here and just don't care because I keep it clean, and they do allow pets in here, but paying an extra $25 a night on somebody else's dime, that's unreasonable as far as I'm concerned, when all he does is hide in the chair, basically, and which I hope there's not drugs in, because I haven't flipped a chair to see anything like that. But yeah, that's a nightmare, huh? But no, we're doing okay. I sought help through the VA because I know my mental health is taking a huge ding right now. I never sought, Flagstaff was a different situation. I sought help there, and my therapist, though he knew what was going on, did nothing to really help me, and the doctor just wanted to drug me more and more to keep me quiet, and not sure that they weren't part of it because they got funds from, the Department of Corrections to help with the whole pedo-predator population out there and give them therapy so that they could pedo-predator less visibly. I don't know, but they weren't really eager to help a victim in that situation. So, after the whole horse shit resort situation and how they treated me, my mental health has definitely taken a ding, and they told me they're going to set me up with services through the VA and all that, and I've been waiting patiently, even though time to me is extremely fluid, where these people, they're just living their normal life, right? And I'm still not living a normal life yet. Things are still very abnormal to me. From the Greyhound to horse shit to just hotel bound to waiting to move into my own permanent place, which is going to be another thing I'm going to have to adjust to. And I'm really glad I have good headphones, because I think there's going to be a lot of insulation going on there. I could be totally wrong. It might be great. It'll be a roof and I can afford it, right? But I'm probably going to be spending way more time not in there. I can get a dog, but with the whole surf situation, I don't know that that's actually the wisest thing to do, but I could take the dog with me. I don't know. Things to think about. But anyway, I sought help. I think that's where I was going. See, I'm a little bit manic, if you couldn't tell. I'm actually quite a bit manic, and I'm just trying to maintain right now. But every day I'm hotel bound, it just gets a little bit more apparent to me that I'm manic as fuck right now. So waiting on the VA to call me back is, unless I call a suicide hotline, which I'm not going to do again because I'm not suicidal, and it's not that urgent. Benadryl takes it down. I can sleep. But I went to an online service provider called Brightside, and I'm not sponsored by them, and I'm not saying they're either good nor bad, because I've only had my first consultation today with a psychiatrist or somebody who can actually prescribe medication. It was easy. It was really easy. You don't have to go anywhere. It's on my phone. The lady was good enough. She's in South Dakota. I think she has to be in South Dakota in order to prescribe to me in South Dakota. But, it is no better or no worse than any telemed that any of us have gone through. And if you're in the mental health system, you know that it's pretty much all telemed now. So, I didn't have to go to an office to do telemed. I'm okay with that. I could sit here, and I actually figured out a way to get my phone all set up and everything. So it worked out pretty well. She did prescribe for me, and now I'm just waiting on Walgreens. You know how that goes. Actually, I don't know how that goes because I've never had to wait for meds. It's always just kind of gone through. But new city with still a Arizona address, and things are just still a little bit fucked up because I don't have a permanent address yet. I'm not gonna get an ID to the hotel because that's just fucking stupid. Just have to get it changed again. But so I'm still kind of like in this like dual state status thing, which is really fucking difficult in order to do anything. But she did prescribe, and hopefully tomorrow Walgreens will get that shit straightened out. I still have all my shit listed at the Flagstaff address because that's my ID right now. So I'm basically still quote unquote on vacation, I guess is a really better way to like put shit, I'm just on vacation. It's not a vacation, but I'm on vacation. An extended vacation, I guess is a better way to put it, right? Although I will never go back to Arizona. But I'm smart enough to know that I should have got help the minute I got off the Greyhound. That Greyhound trip was traumatic, and then going to Horse Shit Resort immediately after and dealing with that bitch was just trauma over trauma. And now, like, the hotel scene, the people are good. The people at this hotel are kind, and the people at Best Western were, like, fucking superheroes of the hotel world, fucking amazing people. Not to say that these people aren't amazing, but there's no way that they could help me as much as the people at Best Western did at that time. It's just, it's a time thing, right? I don't doubt that these people would have helped me go to the UPS store. I don't doubt that these people would have done as much as they possibly could have done like Best Western did, but they just didn't fit into my journey the same way. I hope that makes sense. Because the people here have been good to me too, they don't bother me. They don't bother me, and I'm grateful for that shit, right? I don't do things to be bothered for, but they could still be a pain in my ass if they wanted to, and they're not. So I appreciate the shit out of that right now, especially as I'm like losing my mind slowly through this mania that I'm trying to control. But now that I've been in this room for, I don't know, I guess we're working on 2 weeks now, shit's starting to kook me. There's stuff that I'm starting to notice, like the pictures are upside down, and there's just stuff that's like, why is it like this, and I can't really, I can change it to accommodate me to a certain point, but like, I can't change how the beds are. I can't move the truck. I can, but well, actually, I don't know that I can. I think a lot of shit is bolted down in here because of where this is in town, and I probably don't want to move the beds because there could be bodies underneath them. Who knows? Like, this is not the best part of town to be in. At night, like, I'm still not leaving my room after 6. It's not happening. I know I'm missing some great sky shots, and I know that there's stuff that I would probably like to participate in after 6 o'clock at night, but no, there's just no way right now. I don't need to go out and risk my life. I can go to Walmart all day long. Right? I can take my walks all day long. After 6 o'clock at night, there's really no good reason for me to leave this room besides the fact of wanting to get into trouble, which I don't. Hockey's not happening yet. Hockey on TV is happening, but like there's no concerts I'm willing to go to yet. It just seems like a really good time to just be safe and like just be safe. I don't know enough people around town yet that if something really came down that they would be ready, willing, or able to come and like bail me out or identify the body, type shit. So had an interesting thing happen when I was walking through Memorial Park the other day though, like, and it was kind of like, because I've been watching way too much TV, right? Way too much TV. So, like, Law and Order and Criminal Minds and stuff are, like, what's on free TV for the better part of free TV, unless I want to watch Lifetime, which I don't. So, I had this native guy, like, I was walking because I'm trying to get my steps in to try to keep my anxiety at bay, like, but I cannot outrun my anxiety right now. So anyway, so I was walking through Memorial Park, and this native dude, like, stopped me, and he's like, "This isn't really a safe park for you to be walking by yourself." And I'm like, thinking to myself, okay, like, I've done this every day since I've been here, and nothing's happened. So, like, are you trying to pre-warn me that you're gonna hurt me or some shit like that? And it was just really bizarre. So, I just told him I had to get my steps in, and I would take what he said to mind, right? Which I did. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's dangerous. But I mean, other than that, like, I don't understand what he's talking about. There's, like, guards, and there's it's I don't know if it's a state park, but they have, like, forest, kind of like forestry. I don't think it's forestry, but like park services, and they got people on foot, and there's cops, and I've seen a whole lot of, like, people in authority in that park. So for him to stop me directly and be like, "Oh, while you're rolling through this park," that's what he said. He said, "Well, you're rolling through this park," and it's like, what are you talking about, dude? So, I mean, I'm not dumb. I was stalked for 2 years, right? I mean, I have a very general sense of people that I should not be around, and he was definitely one of the people I should not be around. So I'm glad he stopped me, so I could actually, like, fingerprint his face in my mind. It was really weird, just a really weird interaction with somebody. But other than that, like, I'm not really interacting with many people. I smile, I wave, I'm kind. Like, everybody in Rapid City is kind except that weirdo. But I'm learning that kind of Midwestern, like, thing, But am I overtly looking for friends? No fucking way in hell. I'm not. I'm not looking for really anything right now except to, like, maintain this hotel life until I get into my own place, and then just, I don't know what after that, actually, because it's almost too far ahead for me to think. I thought it was going to happen tomorrow, so I was really excited. And now that it's been delayed, I'm just going to kind of have to ride it out again, and when it happens, not get too anything either way, right? I could be so depressed right now, but what good is that going to do? It's not going to change the timing of the new furniture coming in, and I should be excited about the new furniture because the reason there's an opening in this apartment is because somebody probably died, right? Which is really just another grisly thought, but it's okay. I do well with ghosts, so, I'm okay with the ghost thing, but, I mean, I could go either way, and I'm just trying to really maintain stable right now. And I was trying to say, like, so, Walgreens didn't get my meds today, and I kind of should have known that it wouldn't be a same-day thing with how fucked up my addresses and all this stuff is right now. And they'll get it, I'll get my meds eventually. We can... Well, I guess you could mail them to the hotel, right? There we go again with the address problem. I'm just thinking about getting a mailbox, go pay for a mailbox, and that'll just resolve that problem immediately. And then I can have a actual address in Rapid City that, I can get shit sent to. I don't know if I can use it on an ID or not, but I don't know. It's just too much right now to think about because I really don't have the ability to do it. Oh, actually, I do, but I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow while I wait, is just go get an actual mailbox so I can have an address in Rapid City, and then I can maybe get rid of this Flagstaff ID, and because this is just a problem for me. It might not be a problem for anybody else, but it's a major problem for me right now, is still maintaining this Flagstaff address with all the bullshit that comes with that address, and it's a problem for me. And it's a problem as much as seeing every time I see a black station wagon now, I think it's that ex-bitch from Horse Shit Resort, and I want to fucking give everybody the finger, but you know how many black station wagons there are in Rapid City? A lot. So I can't. I have to maintain, although I am sure that she has driven by me at least more than once, because I just sense her animosity that I'm not dead somewhere in a creek, and that she didn't win, and that, eventually I'm going to rise from this. I have a weird goal, and, I'm going to get season tickets to the Rush. There's no two ways about that right now. It's happening. This is a main goal, and I'm going to make it happen, but There's a few papers out here, and I doubt any of them actually have like somebody who's willing to report every game, because I don't think that many people are really willing to get season tickets to an ECHL team, and also there's probably not that many people who actually have a degree in investigative journalism, which I'm not going to investigate the team, but it just makes me a better writer. So, I mean, I could investigate the team anyway. Let's not even touch that angle right now, but that's a goal, and I will make that happen. I will make a name for myself here in Rapid City, like I do everywhere, just probably, hopefully this time for a better reason, and, being a stalking survivor and getting out alive, because I feel like that's the only claim to fame I have in Flagstaff, is surviving that bullshit and getting out of it alive, which is good. It's something to be proud of, I guess, but, I would have preferred it never happened, right? Of course, but, hindsight's 20/20, and there's nothing I can do to change that part of my life. It's causing me nightmares, and I'm having really bad dreams, which is another reason why I sought help. I'm hoping that getting back on some kind of medication to stabilize this anxiety will help calm down the night terrors and stuff, and I really hope I'm not waking people up by screaming at night, but I just don't know. I don't know. Had a weird dream today where I was trying to lace up skates at the old skating rink back in Old Saybrook, back in Connecticut, and they were like moccasins. So every time I pulled to tighten my skates, the bottom would fall out of the skates because they were moccasins. So the more I pulled to tighten them, the more it pulled and loosened the bottom. It was a fucked up dream. And then Donna Summer was on ice singing Bad Girls Skating, and it was just a really screwed up dream. The taxi driver was in it who helped me when they stranded me at the Grant, I don't remember what, the Grant Wood. That's something like the Berlin Turnpike, but whatever that hotel was that I couldn't afford, and wound up at another hotel I couldn't afford, and whatever. Anyway, it all worked out the way it was supposed to, right? I guess it's just what it's supposed to be, but my dreams are just fucking me up right now, and soon enough I'll be on meds and I'll get stabilized, and soon enough I'll be in my own place, and I won't be stable there, because the more I think about living in a complex with like over 700 people, that makes my anxiety go crazy. But it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, and that's the only sure thing that I can say is, God wouldn't have put me in this if he didn't know that I would get something out of it to help y'all with in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know if I'm helping any of you right now, because I know I can just tell by how fast I'm talking that my mania is peaked right now. And does it make you feel better to know that I'm manic? I go manic? I mean, if that's part of it, then that's okay, because, I do go manic. I usually go depressed, but at this point in time, man, like, if I was depressed, I would probably not be doing the podcast anymore. Let's just leave it at that. Calling 988, I didn't call them, but texting 988 actually got this ball on the road for me getting help and not being actually flat out homeless in Rapid City. So there's no shame in asking for help ever, okay? So don't ever think that by you recognizing the fact that you need help and seeking it makes you weak, because it doesn't. It makes you very, very strong. And to know yourself well enough to know that you need help, that kind of makes you a superhero. Yeah, and the dog next door is, I don't know if he's barking at me. These walls are paper thin in here, but I've not actually heard anybody doing the night rumba yet, which I'm really grateful for. And now that I said that, tonight will probably be like a rumba party, but I slept through a pretty good thunderstorm last night, so, I mean, I am sleeping with enough amount of Benadryl, but I don't want to become, like, dependent on that shit either, because that's just another problem I don't want to have to take care of at another point in time. I think the dog is actually in the hallway, but the dog barking is good because it takes away from me, and whatever. Anyway, I don't know what else to say to y'all right now. I just kind of had to get that shit off my chest, and hopefully tonight I can sleep better. I know I'm not leaving tomorrow, so it's kind of like one less stressor, if that makes any sense at all, but then it's another stressor because I don't know when I'm leaving, but at least I'm safe, right? Safe enough. I mean, I feel safe here. The front desk people are good, and they've got good people on at night, and I've heard them go down with... I've heard them with people at night, so I know that they're not a bunch of pussies at the front desk at night, that they will go toe-to-toe with somebody who's being a dick, so, you know, that's always good to know. I feel protected. I really do, which is weird, because maybe it's not weird. I do feel protected. I feel cared for, and I know that, like, people see that my life is viable here, whereas in Flagstaff, I had my life was nothing to anybody. It was just money. That's all they cared about, was money. And this case, everybody's paying money in order for me to maintain my life, which is quite the flip. So I'm grateful. I really am. I'm grateful. And I think without gratitude, this whole thing would have gone sideways a long time ago. And you know, so I guess that's what you guys can take out of this, right? Be grateful and ask for help if you need it, you know? And gratitude is learned. I'm not saying that's easy. I've been working on gratitude for a very, very long time, so it's kind of easy for me to be able to be like, I'm grateful for this and this and this, because I'm grateful for pretty much everything. Even the bullshit, because without the bullshit, I never would have known that the help was here, right? And I would have suffered all summer with that bitch out there at her shit resort. Actually, she would have fired me long before that, or I would have something. I can't even say what would have happened, because then I plead the fifth on that. But it would have got bad. It would have gone really bad. So I'm grateful that she was a bitch and fired me, because now I see how good people in South Dakota are, except for her, because she's an anomaly, and she can't be native to South Dakota. She has to be I don't know what she is. She's some kind of inbred bitch is what she is. But she's not the norm. So I'm glad I got that out of the way real quick and had to deal with that, and never again. And now I know. Right? So like I said last time, I wasn't going to talk about her anymore, but you know, she keeps coming up because she's like fucking Beetlejuice, you know? And every time I see a black station wagon, I just think it's her and she's going to run me down. But that's totally irrational thinking, and that's part of the mania. So as soon as I get these meds going, that thought process will just end completely. But wouldn't it be funny if she lived somewhere up near the Palms, and like she's my across the street neighbor, and I get to just like eat away at her every time I leave my door and be like, I'm still alive, bitch, hey, I'm not in a creek, bitch, hey. I mean, that could be funny as fuck. I don't know that that's the truth, but truth is stranger than fiction sometimes, right? So that would actually be extremely funny for me to get the last laugh on her and watch her life crumble as her husband divorces her because she fired me and left me homeless. That's actually kind of funny. So let's leave it at that. This is Dawn Stream. This is my podcast, Dancing with Bipolar Redu, and hey, let's all stay alive, okay? Later.